Hey everybody, well that was quite a trading day. So there's a lot to go over and I'm going to try to cover a lot of ground very fast tonight. I do want to try to get through the indexes at the end of this and just review the indexes because of what transpired today. You know, you come in with a plan and there's a geopolitical event, obviously with what happened today, that is just going to shake everything. It just changed the entire gambit of the day. No one came in today knowing that that was going to happen, and it drastically affected positions. And then as the news came out, it kept getting worse and worse, which is not what you want to see. So we're just going to jump right into it. So we talked about this yesterday, AMC, and you broke right below what we talked about and said, if you break this, you probably want to buy puts, put the trade on. If you did, congratulations. That trade's just worked out perfectly. And now you're down to $37. So I think that that's a really good, solid move for this to get to 37. I don't see any reason. Let me pop these in real quick. I don't see any reason why we're not getting down to this level now. I just don't see any reason why that's going to happen. So I would not be looking at long here. You broke the 50, even breaking the 50 for the first time after closing above it for the first time. I'll say that again. You go over the 50 and then you break below it for the first time. That's even a signal. So, but realistically, you're probably going to come to that 8 and test it. So you're in the middle of the trade here. If you're short, stay short until you come to the 8. If you're looking at going long, you need a reversal pattern and you just don't have it here. Amazon is one that I am looking at, and I really like it. I'm very nervous, frankly, with what's going on geopolitically right now. And I just don't know, I don't think a lot of us know when the next shoe is going to drop, if there even is another shoe, and we're going into tomorrow with Powell. So it wasn't something I was going to put a trade on today in this, when so many other trades that should have worked out well just did not have follow through and saw the exact opposite, sold off. So based upon that, it just made sense to me to sit on the sidelines. But, after tomorrow and possibly early next week, I will be looking at adding this. And I don't believe I'm going to get back up to 33.91 before then. I expect this to trade sideways for a little bit and give you plenty of time. There's no impetus there. So I want to go through the CRM trade. You're opening, let's get rid of this because that's not accurate. So this is what happened today. And this is a classic example. This is one that I bought, that news came out, and then the news got worse and worse in Afghanistan as the day went on. And then I just want to point this out because this is really important to understand this. So this kind of reversal, I took the loss. I closed the position out. And I just want to say something. I watch a lot of people, on like Twitter and Reddit and all these sites. Everybody takes losses. Everybody has days where they lose. And they'll lose trades. They'll either have red days or they'll lose trades. And anyone that's telling you differently is just simply not being honest with you. So, no matter who you are, if you looked at this today, and I want to just go through a couple things today. I also want to go through the Pton after hours trade. But I really want to go over these indexes. But let me just spend a moment on this. It'll only take a minute for you to understand this. So for me, looking at this, it was doing every single thing right that it needed to do, right? We were breaking out. We were going where we needed to go. And then all of a sudden, we just reversed and we broke down. And then we tried to get above and we couldn't, right? And then you can start seeing how it sloped from there down. But when you're here and you're riding up on the RSI, you don't know that it's not going to keep pushing. When it does that, you have no idea. You think that, geez, maybe it'll push up and keep going. So you put the trade on. Now, once you broke that low, this 269, that was pretty much it. And I just really want to point this one thing out. This was the 3 o'clock conference call when the general started explaining in the press conference what was going on over there and who they were relying on and how this happened. And that's really when people started understanding the details of it, just how horrific this event was. And that just added fuel to the fire. That's all it did. And so you saw winners come in even harder. And that's exactly what happened here. So to me, it just made sense. Just take the loss, move on, come in tomorrow, clean trade, clean slate. And I just want to point this pattern out because it's a very important pattern. And it happens, right? It doesn't really happen to me that often where I'll buy something that I'm looking long-term and I get stopped out that day. It's actually very rare. It's happened more to me this year than it's probably happened in the past 5 years. And I would say in the past 3 months, it's happened more. So I don't know what that's telling me. But, the volatility has increased. But these reversals like this, that's not great. So if I break this down tomorrow, if you break through this tomorrow, you have to be willing to ride this down to here to see if it'll fill. So just be aware of that. That's not something that I'm willing to do. So, if you're still in this, if I breaks a lower low tomorrow, you're going to want to get out. Very similar to UPST today. And we saw how that rejected again. So crowd being added, and all it's doing since that announcement is going up. That's all it's been doing. We really don't need this right now. And you can just see the volume coming in, and people just wanted to buy it. And it was the easiest trade of the week. So I traded it a couple times, but nothing great. Whether or not you want to stay in it now, then it's going to be added. I believe it's added at the end of today or tomorrow. But it looks great, and you're going to see people that have to buy it. So it may continue to go. You're just going to have to watch this level, 267.17, and make sure you hold it. And as long as you're above that level, you should be good. There is some caveats out there, and I'm just going to point this one out tonight. So I'm trying to get through a lot tonight so you can plan for tomorrow. But see you're at that trend line? See where you closed? Right? You're above it, but that does exist there, so you could see some resistance. DKS. So let me just go through this, okay? This is one that I really like a lot, and I'm just going to drag these out. And I think we would have seen way more movement to the positive here if we weren't in the day, if we didn't have the kind of day that we had today. In other words, if we didn't have these events today, I think that this would have played out differently. Frankly, I think CRM would have played out differently too. But that said, this level right here, you just have to watch this because between 128.80 and 135.60, right? We got above that, and I think we're going to go. But we're going to have to see if we go or not. Right now, it's telling me, no. So we're going to have to see, and we're going to have to figure that out. I'm not entirely sure. I really like how we encompassed this entire bar today. I like how the volume kicked up. But this is really what you're looking for. See how you have this bar and it looks like it's going to break down, and then they just undercut it for probably a minute and then just rip it higher. It didn't stay that low for very long, did it? Hold on, let's take a look at that so you can see what I'm talking about. So this was your little undercut, right? Right for the low on a 2-minute bar. You were there for 2 minutes to undercut that level. And you can see it hit from here, right? So you literally undercut it for 2 minutes. There's your double bottom. And then it just ripped. And that's just a great trade. It really is. So it held in here, and whoever was buying is still buying. I think this has potential. There's something going on in that whole space. That whole space, like HIBB, look at them. I mean, I guess everybody wants outdoor equipment. I guess we're seeing a lot of sporting events. People want to get outdoors. I don't know, but these things are on fire. Like this is setting up to break out, ASO. So I like that space a lot. GME, I was asked a lot to do tonight, so I'm going to just cover it very quickly. This does exist. This is real. I mean, I know it's like huge, and I know people are still holding stock from up there. It's kind of crazy to me, but what you're seeing here is just wow, right? You still have to get up to here to even attempt to get up to that level. So you're building this little flag here, but you keep building it under that 209. You don't seem to be able to close above that 209.43. Until you close above that, I really wouldn't be thinking about holding this overnight. I would say that it's interesting how you're here and now you're here and you're stepping up and you're getting ready to push. So that's what you're looking for out of it. Whether or not that happens or doesn't happen, only time's going to tell us. So we'll see. But I do see the flag being built. Yes, I do see us above the 50-day 208 moving average. Like we're above everything that we need to be above, right? But at the same time, we're trading in a company that's trading pretty high, right? So we know that we're trading at a pretty high level. And I guess my point is that anything can happen because of that. Like you could just come in one day and be down. And, a great example, and I don't have this one in here, but I should probably cover it. I talked about this yesterday. Like here's one where, by the way, you open here, right? You close here, and then the next day you open here. So you open down 7%. Like, it'd be nothing for this just to open down 7% one day. Like, you shouldn't be shocked if one day it just opens down at 180. So you have to be willing to ride those kinds of waves with something like this. It is getting tighter and tighter, and you are in a resistance. So I don't want to make light of the fact that this couldn't go. And what you would really be looking for as well, I'm going to spend a little more time on this because there's a lot of people still playing this one. Look, there's your level. Tried to get above it, couldn't. Tried again, couldn't. If you flip this, you're probably getting to 241. So just keep that in mind. So you really want to stay under here for longer before it flips so that it can build. Maps, I just wanted to cover very quickly. I got asked a couple times about it. Bonk, 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 and now you're there again. You need to hold here. If you do not hold here, you're going to have a problem. Okay, if you do not hold here, I'll say it again, you're going to have a real issue. You see how this 250 are crossing? You do not want to be involved with that. Okay, you do not want to have any, you do not want to be a party to anything like that. This can go a lot lower. How much lower? 10. That's where it was before all this started. So it's nothing for it to get there. So NVIDIA, a lot of questions today about it. Look, from the newsletter standpoint, we're in at 203 and 209. These levels will be moved up in the newsletter tonight. There's a free copy of the newsletter that comes out once a week. There's a link in the description, and also I believe in the banner. But I just want to point this out. I showed this yesterday. Here's your trend line, and you're just riding it. And today in the community, I kept getting asked, should we get calls? What about calls? And I understand why. Like, look, you traded down on the Afghan news, and then we traded back up. But no, this is not where you put calls on, right? All you're going to do is get eaten up in premium tomorrow unless positive news hits, which would be geopolitical news, and that would be great. But I don't even know what that would look like. Like, what would be positive geopolitical news that could possibly come out right now, right? To me, it just seems like you have to err on this side of caution right now, because I don't see how that situation is going to get better before it gets worse. And I just think it's going to intensify before the 31st. And I'm not bringing this up for any other reason besides how it relates to your positions. So do I really want a ton of risk in calls holding them overnight right now? Probably not, right? I probably don't. If this was a different position, I may have actually held my CRM, but I don't know what's going to come tomorrow. So I just think you're better off erring on the side of caution. So I would not be adding to NVIDIA here. I would wait, watch, and see. 225 is what you're looking for, and you could flip it next week. It could happen next week. I just don't think you're going to have a lot of institutions putting money to work. So Pton came out with earnings, and they weren't great, but it did present an opportunity for us to do a day trade, and I do want to walk everybody through that trade so you can kind of understand what we did. So we did this after hours, and essentially this was it. And they came out and stated what? What did they come out and state? They came out and stated that we're in a position where we said we were going to do $1 billion, we're going to do 800 million. Okay, that's not the best thing in the world for guidance, especially with a company like this. But I just want to show this so that you can kind of get an understanding of this and how this trade was played out, and what I did, what I used in order to make a decision. And I'm just going to show you some of it. I'm not going to get into all of it. So let's just go through this very quickly. And we all know where the volume is, so we're going to get rid of that just to make the screen bigger for those that are on their mobile. And we're just going to walk through this. Okay, I break down. Okay, this is your first bar after. As soon as you snap that bar right here, okay, find it interesting how that fib level and that fib level just happen to fit perfectly into this. You have to realize you're trading a lot of algorithms after hours, and they know exactly where these levels would be, right? So they know where their lines are going to be. So you're going to see action around there, or sells around there, and buys around there, right? Okay, so this settles in. You get this reversal bar on the 1 minute, right? And then it comes back down. You think it might hold. It breaks. You want to see if it holds the bottom of this 97. It holds the bottom of 97, and now I want to just show you something, because this was what I used to put the trade on. Okay, closed, hits, hits, breaks above. Closed. Let me open this up even more so you can see it. Closed, hits, breaks above it. That was it. That was my trigger. Okay, by the time I got in with slippage, it was like 99 and a quarter, 99.30 was probably my print. I have to take a look at it, exactly what it was. But that's part one. Part two. See how you're going straight across here? So let's just start here. And we can bring this down. See, I'm going up here. See how I'm flat there? Okay, so that's what you call positive divergence on an RSI. And you can do this on a 1 minute. You can do it after hours. As soon as you did that, that was it. And then I just started walking it up. And now I just kept walking the stops up. Now we flipped this fib level, right? Kept going, pushed, right? Kept going, pushed. And you can see this. What I wound up doing with it, very simply, now I can go to this because I was looking at multiple time frames, which I would recommend that you start looking at as well. Where did well, that's not going to work. Hold on 1 second here. Let me find out where that just went. Okay. So let me go to this. Perfect. There we go. And then drop this to a 5 minute. Okay. There we go. So all I was looking for was for a break of that. That's all I was looking for my stop. That's how I played out my stop. I just kept moving the stop up the bottom, up the bottom, up the bottom. This is when it finally broke. This bar actually encompassed this one. It's a bullish engulfing, but it doesn't really seem to matter, does it? Once you broke the rising wedge, what happened? All the gas came out. So that's where we kicked it off. Now this could trade higher, but I'm happy with, I don't know what we got out of this one. It says 9 points. I would think with slippage, it's probably closer to 8.5. I'll take 8% on a simple trade after hours. I'll do it all day long. But that was that trade in a nutshell. And that's how I did it from entry to exit. So something that you could try to mimic yourself. In regards to SAVA, I just want to touch base on this. Again, tons of questions about, what to do here. And, one of the people in the community actually even sent me the letter. And I read it. Look, I didn't think much of the letter. I've seen much stronger worded verbiage. It doesn't matter. Something's wrong here. Something is seriously wrong here, the way that this is trading. And it's not something that you really want to go near and try and bottom fish. And I'm just going to say this, you think it can't get worse. It can always get worse. You could come in one day and find out that what the allegations against the company are actually accurate, and you opened up down here. It can happen. Believe me, I've seen it happen a lot. So just be really careful here. This is not something I would chase. I would avoid this. If anything, from the way that it's trading, the move is to just buy out of the money puts on it and see what happens. Because this is getting pretty nasty. And to me, I don't know that you're going to hold this level, this 70 level right here. Snow I just want to go over. So I avoided this last night just with the action. I know people traded it and did well. Congratulations. It's just not one that really obeys the way that I trade. And so when I find stocks like that, I tend to be somewhat standoffish. But we can just look at this and see exactly kind of what I'm talking about, how you tried to run up, can't break the low, right? Looks like you're going to break down. Anybody would sell that, right? Get a bullish engulfing and then take off. So congratulations if you're in it. I mean, there's not really much negativity to point out about this, is there? I mean, it looks great. It looks like it's off to the races. I don't see any reason why it's not going to 327, zero. There's a whole market falling apart out there, and there's 3 stocks that went up, and this is one of them. So it looks great. Speaking of other stocks that went up, this SPRT, just an absolute monster. The level that I gave to watch, and we believe I gave this yesterday, was just get above this 1480. And that's what you did. 1480 is where I was. Hold on 1 second. Yep, so there you are. We'll call it 1475 for now. But as soon as you got above that, you just ripped. And look at what you're doing after hours. So for whatever reason, this is going to go higher. And now the question becomes, how do you know where it's going to go? We're going to get rid of all these other little levels down here because obviously they're not as relevant. We're going to pull this down, and I'm going to get rid of all these indicators. I might as well get rid of this line too. I'm just going to give you a really quick tip on what you could do to kind of get an idea on where it's going to go. Right? And this is just back of the envelope. But you're really looking at this getting to about $24. And then if you get to 24, then you can keep going. 24, 26. But you could get to that $24. Did we get up there at all? Yeah, look at that. You just got, I mean, you were within a hair of it, right? And you pulled right back down. It's funny how they work. So, and again, you want to use those based upon not the pre and post closes, but you want to use those end of day. I do plan on doing a video at some point on them, on the fib and posting it. It's just between the community, my trading, and the videos, you know, it's just a question of time. So I just have to find it. 44.99 TPX broke above it, held, and you're just sitting up there. It looks great. You know, look, certain stocks are acting like nothing's going on. And this is one of them. It's just sitting there like this today. You know, this hit a new high. This hit a new all-time high today in the semiconductor space. So you are seeing certain stocks that are just ripping and look like they're just going to keep motoring. And this TPX looks like one of them. Today is just a rest day. These moving averages are still pointing up. Everything looks great. Tesla, you know, there's not really much to say, but let's just look at these levels. So we've had this 697.62 level. Let's pull this down and zoom in on this. So we've had this 697.62 level, and I just wanted to show this. Look how you just hit right on my level, 697.66. I mean, when you know how to draw these levels, you know how to draw them properly, it's amazing the type of detail that you can get out of them, right? And so you test here, you hold there. So your bull flag here is still going. Now you have this little wedge position here you're just trying to work through. But you work through that, you can pop over it, and really what you're looking to try and do is get back over that 717, you know. Hold on one second. How far back does that go? Let's take a look at that. It goes to 719. So that's really what you're looking for next out of that. But I think that this could go. ULTA, you know, this is exactly kind of what happened today with CRM. You open up, you overgap, right? And then you just sell down all day. And you can't really chase this now. You have to be really cautious. So you open up, right? And then you come all the way down the first 15 minutes. That's all you needed to see. And look at this level all day. So if you're in this, just have to avoid it. I mean, you can use the low of the day as a stop, but there's no, like, I'll say this and then it will hold. But like I was going to say, there's no way that this is going to hold. But I think it might, right? Just because I said it. But I think that you could, I think you could break this tomorrow and just come right back down. I'd be very cautious tomorrow, especially going into the weekend with positions. I think people are going to look for a reason to clear out after what happened today. And I got a little time left, so I'm going to go through a couple more, but I want to do the indexes very quickly for everybody so we can just kind of talk about what's happening out there. So this is one that we were in from the newsletter. You know, I said, if it touches this tomorrow, get out. I'm fine being out of this. We did very well with it. We made over 40 points in less than 2 weeks. You know, sometimes, where were we in this? 172. So we'll just call it here. So let's call it 40 points. Look, 40 points in 2 weeks, 26%. I'll do that all day long. Give me the meat of the move. We have given it every opportunity here. Bonk, 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 and it can't break it. I have no interest in holding this and seeing if tomorrow's my special day or not. Like, there's no point to it, right? If I get above this level and I take out that high, I can just put the trade back on. I don't need every dollar. I just need to protect my capital. So you just kind of think like that. Try to trade a little differently. This XM I was asked about. I'll go over it very quickly. You need to break this level, and you're sitting right on it. You're literally sitting right on it. Right? You need to get up above it, and so your pivot is going to be 45.80 84. So let's call it 46. And it can go, like everything's pointing up. I'd like to see more volume. I do want to do two more real quick. This ZM, I find this Morgan Stanley upgrade before earnings really interesting. I mean, that's a lot of risk for an analyst to take. So especially as the economy is opening up. So what does he know, right? Just think about that. Like, what does he know? Why is he doing that? I don't know. I thought it was somewhat interesting. ZS, breaking out. This is one we traded in the newsletter and in the community. We did well with it. We broke out here, gapped, and it just went again. It looks great. There's nothing to do here. I mean, very little to do. You know, that's what I'm saying. There's certain stocks that just don't seem to care about what's going on out there. So to me, this can get up to what? About that 315 level pretty quickly. So I like this, and I think this will continue to go. And looking at what's hitting new highs today, just remember this. Looking at what's hitting new highs and holding those new highs, that's where the volume's going to go when this turns around. And it will turn around. I just think it might get a little worse. So I just want to take everybody through something very quickly so you can kind of understand where we're at and what's going on. We're at 372.41. Now, after hours, I don't know if we're up or down. We're up a little bit. But you're really heading to this 369.06 level, okay? I don't see any reason why we're not going to try and test that tomorrow. Personally, I just don't see why that's going to happen, why we're not going to test it. I could be dead wrong, but I really believe that we're going to test that level. So let's see how it goes, and we'll figure it out tomorrow. But just watch that 369.06. We had a heck of a time getting through it, so it's major resistance, right? Or it's major support now. So just put that out there. You have Powell speaking at 10 o'clock. I don't know if you're going to have any more comments, political comments made today. I doubt today, the Department of State didn't even speak today. So I doubt that we've seen all the comments that are coming out of there. They're probably scrambling. Trying to figure out, what to say and what to do. And they're probably not going to tell us what they're going to do, right? Because everybody's listening. So you just don't know what's coming, and you don't know what's coming over the weekend. So just watch these levels. If you break the 8 tomorrow, okay, you're going to the 21, and you're probably going to break the 21, okay? Every single time we've been breaking the 8, what's happened? We break the 21. Breaks the 8, breaks the 21. Breaks the 8, breaks the 21. You want me to keep doing it? Breaks the 8, breaks the 21, okay? So just keep that in mind. There's a reason why we do pattern identification. So if I break the 8 tomorrow, I'm going to break the 21, okay? So I'm going to have a day like this if this happens tomorrow. So just be aware of that, okay? That is a possibility. That's why in the community today I kept saying, honor your stops, honor your stops. Cash is a position. Something to think about. Now, I'm going to put these lines back in a moment. See this level? What level couldn't we get over today? What wedge did we break back down below? So I have a rising channel and I have an evening star up here on this channel and on resistance and also on this 50-day. So I did start one new position today that is a small cap, but I don't have, I think I'm okay there, but we'll see. I'll be the first to cut it tomorrow if this doesn't hold. If you break the 21 tomorrow, okay, you're really hanging on there. So in other words, if you break the 219.75 level tomorrow, okay, you're going right to this 8-day. You're going to go to 217.84 very quickly. It's not going to be short, okay, because this is day one of a lower low after this. So everybody's going to get out trying to protect their TNA trade or their options or however else they were trading this vehicle. So just keep that in mind. So any other questions or concerns, please put it in the comments and I'll try to get to it. I know that today was a really stressful day for people. It usually is when you have a variable that you're not expecting. But please comment and I'm more than happy to try and answer. Have a great day, everyone.